Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my video series of whether or not Joe Exotic could survive in RimWorld. So, first video was all about kind of the character and world creation, got all that out of the way. The second video, we are kind of kicking things off for real. Joe is going to start setting up his base. On day 1 of RimWorld, I always really like to try to just get the basic necessities down, you know, a quick little shelter, chop some trees down, get 4 walls and a roof over your head, maybe a bed if there's time, if your character is, here's all those tigers we watched emerge from the drop pod on the first video. They are really killing the frame rate on this thing. I might have to switch from my laptop to my gaming PC. Oh, and look, the tigers follow you around as you start walking. So since this is so slow, I'm going to speed up this video. There we go. Watching it kind of 4 times the speed now, so it might look a little bit smoother. So again, just kind of getting a quick little base started. Throw down some zones for Joe to kind of stockpile his stuff. Start putting together, you know, using some existing structures just to save a tiny bit of time. Joe Exotic is not the best carpenter in the world, and I want to make sure that we can get something relatively quickly. So here we are, kind of the first night. We got the building going. All the tigers are just kind of sleeping outside, kind of checking on them. Some of them have some diseases. Some of them are kind of old. I think the oldest tiger is like 40 or 50, so, you know, I don't know how long they're going to last or if they're going to start dying of old age, but we'll find out. Alright, so we're building some tiger cages. I'm just doing this with low walls so the tigers can still walk in and out. I don't really want to make full-blown rooms with roofs for them, just because I don't think it would really be the best thing in the world. A couple of growing zones for Joe. Make sure we can get some drug crops growing later on. So we're at the end of our 3rd day now. Joe has done a pretty good job of getting things started, trying to make sure he remembers to plant some crops while building these tiger cages. I have to find a couple of sleep spots for them so they're kind of spread out a little bit, and if I need to, you know, feed them or take care of them, I can do that a little bit easier instead of them all being on one giant pile. Eventually, once all this is built out, you know, it's going to be the all-new GW Zoo. We'll have to set up a, you know, a gift shop, and like a maintenance building. Of course, a recording studio. Gotta have a recording studio so we can record our reality TV show. But for now, just kind of drawing some arbitrary lines for the tiger cages, just to make this look kind of fun. Okay, so I was just notified that some of my animals caught the flu. It says 128 of them have gotten sick from the flu, so there's a bad case of tiger flu going around. As you can see, a bunch of them went straight to the sleep spots so that Joe can start tending to them, which he's doing right now. This is going to take days to treat 127 tigers for the flu. This could be a bit of a problem. I guess it's appropriate to be doing this during the coronavirus. You know, we have a pandemic going on in the real world right now. Might as well have something in game to mirror that. Oh, this is great. Every sleep spot I make, a tiger immediately runs and dives into it head first. So sleep, little babies. Only 4 days in to the new zoo, and we're getting animal deaths. Hopefully there's no animal rights people on this RimWorld. Alright, so we got our first trading group coming by, which is kind of nice. I don't have a lot of money or equipment to trade at this point in the game. We're only 5 days in. But, you know, it doesn't hurt just to see what they've got, what they'll take. Don't really want to sell them a bunch of tigers. But maybe they want flu-addled felines. Oh. Got a second group coming in to trade as well. This is kind of strange. They show up at the same time. Oh, they've got a lot of meat. I would love to get all of their meat for the tigers. This is kind of like the Walmart truck full of expired meats. I don't think I'm going to be able to buy all of this. Let's just buy all the bird meat. You know, get some chicken. Chicken for these tigers, see how much I can buy. Not a ton of money, only like 180 some. But hey, good enough. Thank you, Walmart truck. Alright, so a little quick tip I discovered in the game here. Instead of going through here and selecting all this sort of stuff, which you're only ever going to have to worry about if you've got, you know, 100 animals or whatever, is that you can like shift click and shift right click up at the top to select and unselect everything in the entire column. So glad that I noticed that. Okay, so overnight I made sure that Joe got to get, you know, first dibs on the expired Walmart meat so that Joe could have a little bit of food for himself. And I woke up to find that my tigers had been puking all night. So the flu is really setting in on some of these guys. It's getting pretty gross to see little puddles of tiger puke that they're all just kind of sleeping in because Joe doesn't have time to clean it up. But, you know, such is life in RimWorld. Sometimes you gotta sleep and puke. Alright, so as my tigers are running off to kill a rabbit, 50 tigers versus 1 rabbit, we had a transport pod crash. It turns out it's a guy named Jumper who happens to be Joe's brother. So let's go there and check out Jumper. He sustained some pretty major injuries upon arrival in the transport pod, so he's going to bleed out in 5 hours. So one of the little tricks I like to do in RimWorld is craft a sleeping spot on the ground right where the person lands. That way when you go to take care of them, you can do it right on the spot immediately without taking the time first to carry them back to your base. Sometimes if people are really, really hurt, they'll end up bleeding out on the way or bleeding out when you first start healing them. So now that he's up to 100%, not bleeding out anymore, I can remove the healing spot out in the field and then rescue him back to my base. Okay, so this is going to be nice. Once Jumper is back to full health, hopefully he will join Joe here at the zoo as an employee. I can offer him up to $20 a day for his work. You know, feeding tigers, curing them of the tiger flu. So things are not looking too great for Joe here. He's at an extreme break risk. This living conditions are okay. So just got notified that a couple of tigers died. These are all bonded animals too, so Joe's gonna be in an even worse mood. Found out that you can just right click on these things over on the right to clear them out. Okay, so now I've got a lot of dead tigers. Oh, more and more dead tigers. Ugh, okay, this isn't good. It's kind of gross, but I guess thankfully the live tigers are now consuming the dead tigers, so that solves some of the food problems. As you can see here, Joe's mood is at 0 because all of his favorite tigers are dying. I guess that's the result of having tiger flu. Not quite sure how many we lost. It's nearly impossible to do a head count easily or quickly. It looked like maybe 30 of them died. So, oh, another one. Oh, another one. Okay, maybe closer to 40 died after all this is said and done. But not a great end to the second part of this video. We arrived on the 6th, it's now the 14th, so we're only about a weekend, and the tiger flu is starting to wreak a little bit of havoc. So I think I'm going to stop here. We'll find out what happens in the next episode, but so far, not so great.